across the entirety of this episode, we are going to talk about one of Brandon's least favorite things, which is streaming media.
It's
This
not one of my least favorite things. I've warmed up to it.
right.
I like physical media. I like having it in my hot little hand. I'm sorry. It's just, I understand the convenience of it. I get, why it's kind of the medium of the day, but there's just something about having the movie or the show in your hand, knowing you own it and you can watch it whenever you see fit.
Well, there's been arguments for either the last couple of weeks because our small town has had intermittent town-wide internet blackouts, and
Hmm.
so no access to streaming. But then when we tried to watch some DVDs, we had to cut Miss Congeniality short because of scratched up
But that's
DVDs.
because we bought a used copy. Okay, that's because we bought a
Yeah.
used copy. If we had checked, if that had been one of the ones I bought new, we wouldn't have had that problem.
Yes, but it doesn't matter how many times you use your streaming media, it doesn't skip.
No, that's not true. It can skip, or it can load, or it can.
True.
We've had that problem. We had that problem the other like yesterday watching the Crowded Room.
So, yeah, actually, let's start talking about that. In our little, pre-review discussion today, we have been spending parts of our summer weekends binge watching these mini limited release shows that the streaming services have been putting out. So we've watched The Crowded Room, which only part of the season is out yet.
Yeah, I think they're still going week to week.
Right. And theoretically, that one is supposed to be just one season and done.
Yeah,
Right. And then we binged based on a true story, which is 8 episodes, but definitely looking towards
another.
having multiple seasons.
Yeah, or at least two.
Yes. So let's talk about these TV shows. First of all, has there been a streaming show that you've been really into?
Cobra Kai.
Oh yes, I forgot about
Yeah,
Cobra Kai.
I don't even have to think about that. I love Cobra Kai.
Okay.
And as a kid of the '80s, and Karate Kid has got to be one of my top 50 movies of all time. Um, I just love what they've done with it. Yeah, Cobra Kai is one of those ones that I've really been digging. I know a lot of people are sad because they say that this next season is going to be its last one, but I think the story has run its course. I think it's time to wrap it up. So but yeah, I love Cobra Kai.
Okay. Now, did you watch any of the OG ones like Orange is the New
No.
Black? Stranger Things we binged last summer.
Yeah, and I never. My best
You
friend
liked the first season,
of Stranger Things.
or was it the second season? You liked one of the
I liked
seasons.
the one where it was at the mall.
That was the second
Whatever
season.
whatever
Yeah.
season that was, I thought that. But yeah, my best friend Matt and I watched a bunch of them, and like we watched the first couple episodes of Stranger Things when it first came out, and we were like, I. It didn't do it for us. It just didn't. It didn't become an obsession for us like it did for everybody else, and we kind of stopped halfway. Just went, meh.
I really liked Stranger Things, but it's one of those shows that if you do not keep binging it immediately, you lose interest. I don't think we ever finished the last
No,
couple
I don't think you
episodes.
did.
Um, I did watch the first couple of seasons of Orange is the New Black. We would binge those as soon as they came out. Um, and I would say I've tried probably almost all of the series that have been streamed. I've tried them or sampled them, and really the only one that stands out to me is like a perfect little capsulation of what a streaming series should be is Maniac,
Mm.
which came out a couple of years ago, and it had Jonah Hill and I want to say Emma Stone, and it was um I believe 8 episodes, but it was perfect in those. It was It totally encapsulated the story began and ended. It had twists and turns, and it had the right amount of episodes, and then it didn't have any need to go on and do more after that. And it was just perfect little example of what it should be.
Uh,
2018 is when that came out.
I enjoyed Matt and I. We watched the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt
Oh, I forgot
and
that
li-
that was streaming.
and
Yeah.
liked that one. That was a good
Mhm.
show. I enjoyed that.
I actually totally forgot that that was streaming
Yeah.
like based because it's so much like a lot of the other series that are,
Yeah,
like
but
Parks and Rec and 30 Rock.
honestly, for me, and I get this reputation a lot, and I understand where it comes from, but it's not on purpose. I swear, is that I've tried a lot of these streaming shows that everyone just goes on and on about, and they get so addicted, and I watch a couple episodes, and I'm just like, okay, that was a thing.
Okay.
It's not necessarily like Stranger Things. Like it's not bad. I
Right.
don't hate it, but I watched it and was just like I said, we watched about half the season and just stopped and never cared about going back. And I find that's true with a lot of these shows.
So let's talk about the ones that we watched this weekend. So based on a true story, let's start with that.
Uh,
Kaylee Cuoco, Tom Bateman, Chris Messina. Um, it's around this idea of true crime podcast, which of course I am. I'm a
you
total
are
true crime
addicted
nerd.
to.
And this couple is struggling, so they decide to make a true crime podcast about a serial killer while it's actually happening.
Well, they discover it's a bit more than that. They discover who the serial killer is
And then
and decide they're going to try to blackmail him into doing a podcast with them because it's something that's never been done, and things spiral out of
escalate.
control, as you would imagine.
So, what did you think about the amount, like the length of time? Did this need 8 episodes?
No, I think this could have been done in
This could have been a movie.
this could have been a direct to streaming movie, and yeah, I think they're dragging it out, and it's getting like I was already having a hard time with this one because the commercials and all that led me to believe it was a series about a couple that tries to investigate
and solve it.
and solve the murder and do the podcast about that, and of course they end up in trouble and the serial killer comes after them and that kind of thing. No, this is about them attempting to blackmail the serial killer, and I have a real hard time with a show like this because our main characters are kind of reprehensible.
Yes, but it's not due to their acting. It's
No,
not due to
no,
the
the acting
performance.
is fine.
The acting in this, and a lot of the different parts of it, the settings, the even the camera direction is really good in it, but the storyline really tries to do that whole anti-hero dark humor thing, and the problem is that we don't have enough likability in the characters to begin with to care about them going dark.
No,
So, and like I said, not the actor's fault at all.
no, the actors are fine. It's decent acting. It's just they're terrible characters. It's like how
Right.
you have a hard time. I was reminded of the film Fall, or its direct predecessor, the 48 meters down. It is so hard to feel sympathy for characters who bring about their own destruction through their own stupidity. And this isn't
Right.
a Greek tragedy where it's trying to teach you some kind of lesson.
No, they know that they're doing stupid things.
Yeah. Like they know that what they're doing is morally and ethically wrong, and they're still doing it.
And parts of it, they're held up as like the moral centers of their group. And maybe the problem is that, like, maybe the people who are writing this are just hanging out with the wrong kind of people, because like they're this idea that everybody has affairs except for them.
Yeah.
And that even though they're actively fantasizing about having affairs with other people, they're still the good guys in this.
Well, it's like you don't know. Like I think it's another thing of your themes being unclear, and that is this meant to um, harpoon the entire culture of true crime podcasts? Is it supposed to be celebrating it? Does it think it's a good thing, a bad thing? Because it feels to me like it is saying,
It did feel very judgmental of
yeah,
the true crime podcast, but the point, like, what from somebody who's been in that a consumer of that since the first one, since Serial, um, what they're portraying as the people who are making these true crime podcasts is not the majority of the podcasts that are being made. So I felt like they just didn't do the research. They're like, oh, women like to hear about murder, and then kind of went off
yeah. So it's like
the.
it's very unclear, and it's like I said, I
There's also kind of an issue um, that like the daughter of the BTK killer, who has given public interviews before, has come out and said like the people in Based on a True Story used her imagery and used like video clips of her and her name as part of, like, they mentioned it in the storyline. They didn't ask her permission, they didn't contact her. Like, I mean, and that's really, like, if you are someone who consumes true crime media, like, you know that that's really frowned upon in the true crime world. Like, you reach out and you contact the victims before you use them in that kind of way.
yeah, this is one of those things where I think the cast is good,
Yeah, the cast is great.
but if they had done it more like you say of a suburban couple trying to solve a mystery, I think
Yeah.
it would have been a lot more interesting. And but it's like I say,
By the time they get to the thing with the dog, you're
yeah.
like, I don't even know I'm supposed to be rooting for anymore. Strangely, the serial killer seems to be the most rational person right now. So yeah,
So yeah, I'm not. I can't say I'm
maybe
a
this
fan.
was written by the serial killer. I kind of do feel bad for Kaylee Cuoco because the last thing we reviewed with her was really great. That the Pete Davidson
I
movie.
don't feel too bad for her. She's doing pretty well.
Yeah, that's true.
That other show of hers, that flight attendant or whatever, that got all sorts of awards. So she's. I don't feel sorry for her. I think she's doing pretty good right now. So she has a stinker. I mean, everybody does.
So let's talk The Crowded Room. Tom Holland, Amanda Seyfried, set in the 1970s. Very twisty, turny psychological thriller. But psychological thriller in the way that a lot of it takes place in quiet rooms.
Mm-hmm.
How, like, impressions?
I don't do impressions. No, that's not true. That's not true.
It's really not
That's
true.
really not true. Anyway, my impressions of this one is that I understand why Tom Holland is doing it. Like I get it because he came to prominence as Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
There's rumors, but you don't know if there's going to be another Spider-Man with him in it, or if he's going to do any guest appearances in future. So he's at a point now where he's trying to break away from that and have a healthy career after Spider-Man. So he picks a project that is very different from what he's best known for, and it's the show is well acted.
Mm-hmm.
It's very well acted. It's very atmospheric, but it's another one that
they didn't necessarily need this many episodes.
It's dragging on, and
we're at episode 5, and there is a lot that is going into it, but each of these episodes they could have shoved 2 into
yeah, and it's all hinging on this big reveal, which they have not revealed yet.
No,
but you figured it out.
I figured it out because I read a lot about psychological things in serial killers,
and I saw the name of the book that it's based on,
right,
and from that kind of figured it out. And so I think that most people will probably know what the big twist is,
But yeah,
and they're just dragging it out, and
they
it's
really are. Like it should have been revealed by now.
yeah, you
Um,
know.
like really, you don't. I don't know. Maybe by this point they're assuming the audience knows what's going on. Um, but I don't think it's adding anything to the story at this point to not
No.
know. Like the first couple of episodes, yes.
Yeah.
Keeping it kind of under wraps and you're going, I don't know what's actually going on here. Well, I knew, but um
But okay, you knew the overall, but picking out like what aspects of it. We're trying to be
right.
spoiler free here, so which is why we're kind of talking in circles. But trying to figure out, who was in on it,
Right.
and
Yeah.
who is not in on it, that
Yes.
kind of thing. But after, like 5 episodes in, you're like, okay, stop,
Okay,
just
just
just get with the big reveal and let's
yeah.
just get this over with. This is another one that could have been a 2-hour movie,
Right.
and
Although I don't know. I don't know quite yet because we are at a point where a lot more action is happening right now. The build up, the first couple of episodes were the build up to the action, I feel like. And now we're in the middle of the action. So I don't know what's going to happen in the next few.
so the first few episodes were leading up to the rising action. We've reached the climax. We're in the falling action now, and
Right, possibly.
but
Possibly. I don't know if the major action has happened yet or not.
yeah, well,
So we'll have to see. It is something that has been keeping my attention, even the slow movingness of it.
okay,
Um, it does have a lot of mystery. It gives me kind of the same vibes that Lost did back in the day, where you're like looking for clues.
mm,
Like, okay, on the mirror, what does J plus A mean?
yeah,
Like,
and at least here, they know where it's going, unlike Lost,
right.
where you're looking for
Smoke
things,
monster.
and you think you found something that makes sense, but in fact doesn't later.
And in the end, nobody knew what was happening
Yeah.
in that longer.
Yeah.
At least if this is based on a true story, unlike based on a true story.
I
If this is, based on this
mean, it is.
original story, then we know that there is a conclusion. We know
Yeah.
that there's an ending.
But you have to give credit to Lost, if for no other things. I've seen shows do flashbacks. I've seen shows do flash forwards. I have never seen anything do a flash sideways.
Yeah, that's true.
And yet they did. They found a way. I
Yeah.
don't know how. I remember that was when I completely checked out of the show, though. It's like, we're flashing sideways?
Yeah, no.
Done.
Yeah.
And the time travel. That's when I was like, well, we're done here. When we're
Well, and that's kind of like at this point now, we've finished episode 5 of The Crowded Room. We're now entering the second half to see what's happening. The action and his reasoning behind things has gotten so extravagant and over the top that you're like, something insane is happening.
yeah.
But knowing that it's not going to branch off into actually it was aliens all along, like knowing that it's going to be.
Of course, you don't know. It just says it's based on a true story. That's
Yeah.
what I said about the fourth Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah.
And then we all know how. I'm sorry.
The
There's only 3 Indiana Jones
Yes,
movies.
yes. He and my daughter have this.
There's only 3.
So,
and if you think there are more aside from the new one that's coming out, then you are wrong and insane.
okay. So anyways, let us know what you think about these streaming shows. I am interested to see what happens in the rest of The Crowded Room. I probably will not watch the second season of Based on a True Story.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay. All right. When we come back, we are going to talk about a straight to streaming movie that we both had never really heard of before we saw it on Amazon Prime.
So yeah.
So come back to talk about The Shotgun Wedding with us.
All right. Here we go. We're back.
I didn't know if you were going to do a fake
No,
advertisement.
I thought about it and then didn't. Well, however, I will say that just disclaimer. According to IMDb, this movie was released in 2022, but
Right.
according to our thing, it said it's a new release to 2023. So we're counting it in the 2023 movies because it's our podcast and we can do what we want.
Yes,
So
whatever we want.
that's how that's going to work.
So this movie.
Sorry, I got really defensive there.
Yeah, I don't know why. The
I've-
17 people who have listened to this are on our side. Okay.
Right, guys? I mean, right? I hope they're not just listening to us to be like, like, let's listen to these idiots.
All right, so the Shotgun Wedding is on Amazon Prime, starring Jennifer Lopez as our, anxious bride, Josh Duhamel as our kind of do-it-yourself groom, with appearances by Jennifer Coolidge. We had Cheech Marin, Darcy Carden from
The Good Place.
The Good Place. Lenny Kravitz was in there.
That was a surprise when Lenny Kravitz showed up.
Yeah,
What's Lenny Kravitz?
So the concept of this movie, you want to break it down?
Yes. So our lovely couple are having a destination wedding on a lovely secluded island.
I believe in the Philippines.
Yes. When on their wedding day, their wedding is overrun by pirates who take the wedding party hostage. They are there to take Jennifer Lopez specifically hostage, but our blushing bride and groom, in classic John McClane kind of circumstances, were not in the main party. They were having a fight, so they were separated, and these two kind of hapless fools have to escape the terrorists, and like it kind of has this real Tucker and Dale versus evil kind of feel, where the first couple of bad guys they escape from, it's kind of by accident,
right,
that they manage to escape and kill these guys, and then it just kind of snowballs the more they're trying to get away and summon help. They just keep kind of accidentally thwarting all of these plans.
Right.
In a very Tucker and Dale versus Evil is kind of the best comparison I can give.
We start off with so Jennifer Coolidge plays Darcy, and she is like I said, kind of an anxious person. We don't really know exactly what she does, except for at one point she worked with the Peace Corps.
Yeah. Well, no, Jennifer Lopez played.
What did I say?
You say Jennifer Coolidge.
Oh my gosh, you're right, Jennifer Lopez.
And I was like, that's not who Jennifer Coolidge plays.
Yes, Jennifer Lopez played Darcy. Oh my gosh.
We need notes.
Yes, it is Darcy. I got confused because Darcy Carden is the name of one of the actresses, but Darcy is the name of Jennifer Lopez, and Jennifer Coolidge is also there. Yeah. Anyways, then Josh Duhamel is a retired baseball player.
He's a designated hitter.
But
his contract didn't get picked up, so he's recently unemployed.
Right. And Jennifer Coolidge is his mom.
Yeah, is Josh's mom.
Cheech Marin is
Jennifer Lopez's
dad. And Darcy Carden is his new girlfriend. And then we have her mom. I can't remember who plays her mom. Sonia Braga, I think.
Yeah.
Plays her mom. And they're of course divorced and have to be kept apart. And so we come on to the scene during the rehearsal dinner, and everybody's kind of fighting. And then Darcy and Tom start fighting. And that is why at the wedding the next day, she's in her mother-in-law's wedding dress. She's angry about it. And she's mad at him for being a groomzilla. And they're having this fight when the pirates show up. And we're talking, like Captain Phillips pirates.
Yeah.
Not Jake.
Not Jack Sparrow.
Not Jack Sparrow.
So that's kind of an interesting thing right there. One of the things I liked about this was the switching of kind of the quote unquote gender roles. That it was the groom who was kind of obsessing about everything going
making
well,
all the centerpieces,
and Jennifer Lopez just wanted to get married. Like she didn't want all the hullabaloo.
And then she's the one who gets cold feet and runs off.
Yeah.
And then and in the end she's the one who is the tough guy, because she was at one point in the jungle with the Peace Corps and she knew how to defend herself. So she ends up being, the commando who kind of takes charge near the end. High points.
I just think, for me, high points of this one is a couple of things. Number one, I think really great chemistry between our two leads.
Yeah.
Like, really, and I have to say, I gotta be honest, in the 90s, when Jennifer Lopez was kind of at the height of her fame, I could not stand her.
Oh, really?
I was not a fan of her movies. Her movies were awful.
I saw Wedding Planner in the theater 3 times.
So there. So I've never really been a fan of her music.
I loved her music as well.
But
I even did my hair like her for a while. I wear her lipstick. Yeah.
But I have to say that in these last couple of years,
I might be a Jennifer Lopez super fan.
I think you might be.
Oh my god!
You just discovered this. But I have to believe, or not believe, but I gotta say that in the last couple of years, I've seen a couple of the movies she's done. I saw this one and the Marry Me one she did with Owen Wilson last year, and she was good in both of them.
Yeah, she does.
Like she really grew on me, and I have to give her a lot of props.
She knows her zone, and she does her zone well.
Yeah, and I think the same has to be said for Josh Duhamel, who I think is one of these actors who's never really gotten a lot of credit for kind of what he does. And what he does fairly well and competently. And
he's been like the good-looking, goofy guy.
Yeah, and he's been in some big-name movies.
Yeah.
But he's always kind of forgettable.
Right.
Which I think is unfortunate because he's good and they work very well off each other.
They do.
Is
he the one who was in that Jennifer Garner Kevin Smith movie, or was that?
He was in. I always remember he was in Die Hard, Live Free or Die Hard. He was the killer in the second Scream movie.
Well, now I can't watch that.
And you've watched it. He was in.
No, I'm thinking.
He was with Drew Barrymore in that zombie show.
Oh.
The Santa whatever diet.
Yeah, Santa Clarita Diet.
Yeah.
There's another streaming show that we.
So.
No, that's not the one I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of the one with the guy who died.
Oh, wow.
Which I think
that narrows the field down.
So, see, this is the issue with
He was
Josh
in that
Duhamel.
movie with the guy who died.
This is the issue with Josh Duhamel, is that he is too similar to Timothy Olyphant.
Yes, he is. That is fair.
And Timothy Olyphant is, I'm sorry, Josh, a slightly better actor.
Kind of, it's kind of like me having problems with Bradley Cooper, Ryan Gosling, and Channing Tatum. For the longest time, I couldn't tell any of them apart. I didn't know who was who. And they don't even look that similar. They're just all bland white guys. So it's like, which bland white guys in this one?
Anyways, so and then of course, like, I am unknowingly and unapologetically a Jennifer Coolidge super fan.
Yeah.
Like, I think this is her time to shine right now. She is, this is her time, and I think she did great in this.
Yep.
She was. You expect her to come in being kind of like super annoying Stifler's mom kind of thing, but she's actually really sweet and endearing in this.
And I think that leads to the second thing it's like, this film is formulaic.
Right.
But I've always said it is okay to be formulaic as long as you're doing fun things with the formula.
Right.
Like, formulaic is not a bad thing. When I mean formulaic, it's like, if you can't tell who the major bad guy is,
right.
If you can't guess, then you have a problem.
Then you've never seen a movie.
You've never seen a movie ever. But that's okay, because they do a lot of fun things with the premise.
They really do.
And they do like with the zip lining. They do a lot of fun stuff with the dress.
Yeah.
And there are some really funny, touching scenes, like towards the end, to distract the pirates.
Oh, we're gonna have to take a quick break. Sorry. Our children are about to come in the door, so we're gonna take a quick break for a few minutes, and we will be back. we're back. Sorry about that. Our kids were about to come in the door, so we wanted to make sure we had a
and
minute to talk with them.
and they come in the door like Kramer.
Yeah.
I'm bald now.
I don't
Yes.
see how that changes anything.
We had to have discussion about new hairstyles. So, okay, so you were saying
I
something.
was talking about like one of the best parts of the movie is when they are attempting to distract the pirates by trying to have their wedding, and the entire wedding party is like singing.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I forget what they were singing, but they were singing some song, and it was very beautiful, and like the pirates were singing along. It was a really, like I say, it's one of those instances of
Just really good.
having fun with your premise.
Was I know when the movie was over, we were both just kind of delighted with it. It wasn't, it's not going to win Oscars. It's not going to be on the top 100 list, but I think it was just very charming and entertaining.
Yeah, like, I think that's a great way to put it. I mean, if you're gonna watch this thing, thinking you're gonna see some amazing performances, or
The performances were great. They're not like,
but like action comedy is hard to do.
Right, and I can't remember the last time we saw a really good rom-com that also didn't make us feel depressed.
Yeah, or
So-
just either because of the subject
premise,
material or the movie in general. Just
Right.
But this, I think this one was a fun watch. I also got to say, I didn't think it had to go as hard as it went.
It did.
Like it's got an R rating, and you'd think that would just be for the for like the language, but damn,
Yeah.
like they went gory in some of these things. Like
the action was really actiony.
like I don't know that we needed to see the main villain get caught up in the propellers of a helicopter and gashed to pieces.
It's very satisfying when that happens.
But it was just like damn, they went there.
And also, like, the humor was really good too. One of my favorite lines was when Lenny Kravitz, who's Jennifer Lopez's ex, comes in for the first time, and Josh Duhamel says, "Oh, he came so fast that he didn't remember to button his shirt up all the way."
Yeah.
Like, didn't have time to button his shirt up all the way. It was just, I don't know, just it was very charming.
Well, another thing that I really enjoyed about it is, I always say when you're writing something, or things have to be about things,
Right?
There's got to be a theme. There's got to be a central idea that everything is kind of coming back to, and I like that. Yes, Pat, as a romantic comedy premise as it may have been, the idea that, marriage is work, marriage, isn't this storybook thing. You have to work at it. There are good times, there are bad times, and that if you think that all you're getting is some fairy tale, then you're going to be disappointed.
Right.
And I think both the characters having to learn that for their own past. We're being distracted because the youngest is swinging a cat back and forth. You've heard
rocking a cat, not swinging it like by its tail.
You've heard the expression that you can't swing a dead cat and not hit something. Well, this is a live one, and so
she keeps hitting things.
So anyway, a little distraction there. Thank you, River.
But yeah, I really enjoyed all of the performances in this. I think sometimes Cheech Marin kind of phones it in.
I just think Cheech Marin phones it in just in general. I just think he's at that age and that point in his career where he's just like, I'm Cheech Marin. I just show up, I do Cheech Marin, and where's my paycheck?
He did really well in this, and I mean, all of the performances were really good in this. It's not a movie, like I said, that's going to be taught about in film classes, but it is something that was really entertaining and a great way to spend a Saturday evening. I thought.
Yeah.
So,
And sometimes that's all you need a movie to do. This is one I can see rewatching. This is one you're like, oh, we need something fun. Oh, here we go. This is an enjoyable romp.
Right.
So,
tell me any things you would change, any bad low points?
Yeah, I don't think it had many low points. It had a Lopez, but I see what I did there.
Oh
I don't
my
think it
gosh.
had any really bad points or I guess the only thing I would say is maybe I would have tried to have made it a little less obvious who the bad guys were, like the like I
Yeah.
think that's the only thing I can really say is against it, because as we've talked about, every other thing it did,
Well, and it wasn't really obvious to the general person. We watch a lot of
I think it's pretty obvious
Okay.
myself. But aside from that, and that's a minor thing. That's like I say, it's formulaic, and that's what it's supposed to be. So yeah,
Yeah.
6 of one, half dozen the other. But I didn't think there was anything horrible. There was no. I'd say
No.
just be aware if you are going to watch it. I know a lot of people don't have this same problem with things. It is gorier
There is some blood stuff.
than you would expect from a movie like this.
Right.
Like it is rated R and it earns it, and that was a little shocking, just how like I said, how hard they went.
Right.
But that's not a mark against it.
No. No. I mean, it is it is kind of interesting in the moment when it happens, but then yeah, you're like, "Oh yeah. Okay."
Yeah.
I think the only thing I would say was that I thought the dress was pretty to begin with.
Yeah, that is
And
kind of
they kept
yeah.
insulting the dress, but I thought it was pretty.
She kept insulting the dress that she was wearing. Her wearing his mother's wedding dress, and it was like it looked beautiful on her.
Yeah.
What was the problem? Like
Yeah.
what was the issue, Jennifer Lopez? And not to be rude about this, but you're Jennifer frickin' Lopez. There's not a lot that looks bad on you.
Exactly.
You're like, so what are you complaining about?
So, anyways, all right. Final thoughts?
A good time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Kind of like a surprising little gem.
Yeah, and that's one of the great things about how we review movies and the movies we choose to review is, you take chances. Sometimes you get queen bees, and sometimes sometimes you get this, but you got to take the chance. So, all right. So final grade for A Shotgun Wedding.
I'm gonna go A. Like I said, it's not Citizen Kane, but it's a entertaining little nugget of fun.
I am going to go just a little lower, but not for any bad reasons. But I'm going to go a B plus on this one because, yeah, it is nothing really memorable, but it doesn't have to be. But it's still good. It's nothing that I'm gonna, is gonna really move me or make me think differently about life. But it was a thing that, like I said, I'll probably watch it again.
Yeah.
It was, especially if it comes out on physical media.
Oh, jeez. Anyways,
Which it probably won't.
All right.
Rant.
Yeah.
I like ranting.
Okay, so this was a fun little nugget. Next time we will be reviewing another movie we saw on streaming, Hypnotics.
Actually, we have mini episodes to do in between.
Oh yes, we will be. Look out for a couple of mini episodes about some things that we watched that did not require 20 minutes of talking.
Yeah, so we'll kind of give you a brief. We're going to try something different next time. But yes, then we will get to another streaming movie.
Which was not as fun.
Yeah.
But still contains someone in the Lopez Affleck marriage.
Yes, it does.
So, anyways. All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you, my love. Thank you, my podcasting princess. For lending your voice and talent to these discussions. Thank all of you who listen. Thank you to the children who are waiting patiently for us. And yeah, so thank you for joining us. And as always, drive safe, and we will see you at the movies.